2 MVP awards, 0 Super Bowl trips so far. Following last season's AFC title loss to the Chiefs, John Harbaugh and Lamar discussed expanding their audibles at the line of scrimmage, something QB's coach T. Martin broke down for the media.
You're not going to give a guy keys to the Ferrari and tell him to do 30, and so that's really what it is. And sometimes as coaches, you can't be scared when they make mistakes, and you can't allow the mistakes that they make to put fear in your heart for not calling that play the next time, because without that, there's no growth. And so, with Lamar, I tell him, hey, man, number one, whatever hits your brain first, we're going to live with it. And as long as we're all on the same page, it's not a wrong call. It's not a bad call.
I wonder how much this stems from that game where they had, it was a wacky play calling. Remember against the Chiefs, they ran the ball, with running backs 6 times, some insane low number.
Yeah.
And maybe they were too predictable and they weren't audibling at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it was something. What was interesting is that didn't draw more criticism. That was.
I'm pretty sure we crushed them the day after.
We did. I thought it was the strangest game plan for a power running team to not run the ball and keep Mahomes off the field. Was the strangest game plan I ever recall in a big game. That's why I wouldn't put it all on Lamar. They refused to run the ball. If you're going to be something for 18 weeks and then you shift in week 19 or 20, good luck. So Baltimore, I still can't get. I said this before. I compared Baltimore's playoff loss to the Warriors going to the finals and then electing as a team not to shoot threes. You'd be like, what? That's what we do.
Yeah.
What if the Celtics in this series said, we're gonna do a lot of mid-range jumpers. We're not gonna be dependent on the three. Well, that's analytically, the Celtics shoot more threes and make more threes than everybody in the league. That's who they are. Baltimore was a power running team with a wildly athletic quarterback, and they refused to run the ball against Kansas City. It remains a complete enigma, a total mystery.
I mean, to give Mahomes some credit, I think he opened the game, came right down the field and got points, or it was early first quarter. They just took the game, they took control, and the Ravens were playing catch up all afternoon, and they just couldn't pull it off. I'm just going to point out, and we've touched on this, a lot of turnover in that Ravens offense, Colin. Besides Odell Beckham, 2 new guys on the offensive line. They lost 2. The running back room is totally remade around Derrick Henry now. I don't think the Ravens are going to be as good as everybody. They're going 13 wins and number 1 seed. I don't see that. I think you're still bullish on them, right?
Yeah. I'm going to be bullish on teams that have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson at quarterback. I'm going to like those teams.
To fail in the postseason in January?
To win 75% of their games.
Yeah, well, regular season.
Crazy take.
Yeah. That's quite a take. All right, final story is the Denver Broncos revamped their quarterback room this offseason. So now it's Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, and Zach Wilson. Are you ready for this? According to a report from minicamp, Zach Wilson, yes, the immortal Zach Wilson, has the, quote, liveliest arm and potentially biggest portfolio of throws he can make among the team's quarterbacks.
That's no question about that. Bo Nix is not a big, strong-armed guy. But he's smart, makes good decisions, is accurate. Zach Wilson is Jay Cutler. I never doubt his arm. I never doubt Zach Wilson's talent. It's judgment, it's seeing the field, it's reading a defense. It's not an arm talent thing. This story is not surprising. There are a lot of guys that can sling it in college and in the pros. Doesn't make them great quarterbacks. Zach's got a great arm. Justin Fields and Zach Wilson, I've compared them. Athletic, big arm, don't see the field. I can't explain it, but they just don't see the field very well.
It is interesting. This is the 3rd positive Zach Wilson story in 10 days. So they're trying to pump up his confidence. Really, hey, Zach, you're the man, dude. You got this.
Well, stuff gets out when somebody wants it out.
He's not starting week 1, right?
I don't know.
I thought it was Bo Nix was a lock.
Bo Nix will start, and Zach will be a top 5 backup talent in the league.
Oh.
Okay. You say what you want.
Wow. Top 5 backup talent?
Yeah, Zach's talented. Who's a more talented backup? Michael Penix? There's probably one. Start naming the backups in the NFL.
Penix for sure.
How many backups in the NFL would you say a backup's got a great arm?
Wait, you're just talking about arm? That means nothing.
Well,
he's got a great arm.
It means something. Everything is something. Nothing's everything. So it's something, but I've never questioned. I wasn't a big Jay Cutler fan. I never questioned his arm. I never questioned Jay Cutler's.
Okay, fine. If you're talking top 5 backups, and it's fourth quarter, 3-point game, your starter goes down, it's Taylor Heineke or Zach Wilson. Who you trust in there? That's what I thought.
Well, neither. Can I give that as an answer?
Yeah, Zach Wilson's a top 5 backup. 0 chance.
All right. J-Mac with the news.
Well, that's the news.
And thanks for stopping by.
The Herd Lie News.
Listen, a lot of what you make in life is timing and how valuable you are. I don't think Brandon Ayuk of the San Francisco 49ers quite understands that he's not that valuable with this team and to become the NFL's highest paid player. He had a 9-game stretch. 8 of those 9 games, he was elite. That's it. Now, I'm not making a comparison here, but Tim Tebow had a 6-game winning streak, and the world lost its mind. Blake Bortles, in his second year in the NFL, threw for 35 touchdown passes. Second in the league, and people were fooled by it. Whoever quarterbacks Green Bay when they're young, Favre, Aaron, or Jordan, is going to succeed at some level because Green Bay, they do quarterbacks right, especially young quarterbacks. They always have good O-lines, enough weapons, offensive-minded coaches, not a lot of big market pressure. Is Jordan Love good enough to overcome a defensive coach who's over his skis and a bad O-line? I don't think so. But here's the thing. You don't have to worry about that because Green Bay's never in chaos, never has a terrible offensive line, never has a defensive coach, and always has good enough weapons. Now I think they have excellent weapons. Do I think Jordan Love feels like highest paid quarterback in the league talent? I do not. I don't think he's as talented as Mahomes or Josh Allen or Lamar or Matt Stafford or a healthy Justin Herbert. I'd be a little reluctant today, if given the choice, to give him that kind of money. I'm not asking much for a full season. Give me 6-7 more starts. I've got like 17, 18 weeks of good, really good, then I'm in. But I do think he's talented. But I mean, you got to be careful on this. Blake Bortles, people bought into it. Baker Mayfield, with Kevin Stefanski, makes the playoffs. Everybody's all in. The next year, they're bailing on him. The opinion I have is reasonable. I think he's the guy. I'd love to see another 6 starts. The sports media is younger and softer than ever, so if you occasionally offer criticism, you're seen as harsh and too intense. And I've said this about Jason Tatum. I'm viewed as a Tatum critic, but I love his game. It's aesthetically pleasing. He's long. He's fluid. He's a 3-level scorer. But I have been saying for years, last year it was like Brown and Marcus Smart were the alphas. He was like a third. He was the best player, but you late in games, it's like Marcus Smart would be taking shots. He's a defensive guy. And I said during these playoffs, I think Jaylen Brown's the alpha. Well, he won the Eastern Conference Final MVP and last night the Finals MVP. It's not a myth. Jaylen Brown's the go-to guy. He guarded Luka way more than Tatum. He was more efficient. He shot the ball better. He's the alpha. Scoring 31 when you're up 21 at half does not conjure up memories of Michael Jordan. Again, I think he's a terrific player. But Jaylen Brown did the Luka guarding. Jaylen Brown was more efficient. That game 3, remember? It got tight, could have gone either way. It was the big dunk by Brown. It was the 20-footer by Jaylen Brown. He had the 2 biggest baskets. It's not a knock on Tatum. It's a reality. He scored under 20 in 3 of 5 games. If you look at his regular season numbers against a very weak Eastern Conference, which are staggeringly good compared to his finals numbers, he punched below his weight. He shot 26% from 3 in the finals. That's just who he is. So last night when he didn't win the MVP, I'm like, guys, recency bias. It was a blowout. He was elegant. He's a beautiful basketball player. But that doesn't, Brad Stevens told you the truth. Brad Stevens wanted to make this team more of an offensive collaboration than Tatum dependent. They weren't doing that with MJ. They weren't doing that with Kobe. They're not doing that with Bird. Bird had other players he played with, but everybody knew who took the final shot. That's okay. But the general manager told you what he thought was championship basketball. Across 11 finals games in his career, he shoots 38%. Just